They turned Kyiv into a deadline. Midnight. No diplomacy. No ambiguity. From our assessment, this is not pressure. It is an execution notice. Russian forces are already positioned around the capital. The order is standing. We believe the Kremlin has deliberately closed every exit. Strategically, this means Ukraine is no longer negotiating territory or influence, but existence itself. Zelensky is silent. Moscow is not. In our view, this is the final bill for years of escalation against a power that repeatedly warned its limits were real. The clock is running. There is no contingency plan, no rescue, no reversal, only surrender or annihilation. Wiped off the map. That was the warning. Blunt, calculated, and intentional. Kyiv has until midnight, not a second longer. The Kremlin issued an ultimatum without diplomatic language or symbolic gestures. Either Ukraine immediately halts all attacks against Russian energy infrastructure, or the Ukrainian capital will face total devastation. This threat did not arrive as a public decree. It emerged as a controlled leak from Moscow, directed straight into Ukraine's highest power circles. The objective is not merely military degradation, but psychological submission. In Kyiv, shelters are no longer emergency options. They are part of daily routine. Midnight is no longer a time reference. It is the final boundary. Sources describe a large-scale operation that is precise, immediate, and overwhelming. Long-range missiles, coordinated drone swarms, and hypersonic strike capabilities form the backbone of the plan. Initial targets are expected to include power plants, electrical substations, transmission nodes, and drone storage facilities. The intention is clear: paralyze Ukraine's operational capacity within minutes. The strike is designed to ensure Kyiv cannot restore control over its energy grid. The civilian population, plunged into darkness, will witness a decisive shift in the nature of this war. This is no longer framed as defensive action. It is the enforcement of a new strategic reality. Either Ukraine retreats entirely, or it disappears from the geopolitical map. Over the past 72 hours, Russian attacks have intensified to levels unseen since 2022. More than 145 districts have been struck in coordinated waves. Energy networks, transport corridors, communication systems, and logistics hubs have been disabled. In Dnipropetrovsk, a major processing facility operated by a US-based multinational was reduced to ashes. In Odessa, similar installations were repeatedly targeted. These are not random strikes. They are Western-built assets, developed over decades, now burning as symbols of an externally dependent Ukrainian economy. The message is political as much as military. On the ground, the encirclement continues methodically. Russian forces are not launching mass assaults. Instead, small, mobile assault groups advance from the northeast, severing key supply routes with precision. Near Sloviansk, cracks in Ukrainian defensive lines are widening. From the south, Russian units focus on disrupting logistics rather than capturing territory. The strategy is attritional. With every movement, Ukraine loses more than manpower. It loses command cohesion, logistical depth, and the ability to operate without external assistance that is increasingly absent. The fighting around towns such as Ulya and Poli reflects the war in microcosm. Urban areas reduced to ruins. Russian units advancing along river corridors. Ukrainian forces pushed into positions with no withdrawal options. From the north, Russian artillery maintains relentless pressure, using forested terrain as natural cover and executing flanking maneuvers without exposing core units. Vuhledar remains a critical objective, not for symbolism, but because it represents a remaining node of resistance. Its neutralization would further suffocate Ukrainian operational capacity. Orders from Moscow are unemotional and deliberate. A senior Russian officer, speaking anonymously, describes the situation as a forced response rather than escalation. According to this assessment, the United States transformed Ukraine into a pressure instrument through sustained military aid, intelligence sharing, and financial backing. In Moscow's view, this left Russia with no margin for restraint. The message is unambiguous. There will be no rollback. Every strike originating from Ukrainian territory is interpreted as justification for intensified action. Claims that Kyiv can absorb or contain the damage are contradicted hourly on the battlefield. The ultimatum itself was first exposed by a Russian insider network known for its access to internal channels. The language was stark. Behind closed doors, the Kremlin conveyed conditions that amount to total submission. Among the most critical demands is Ukraine's complete renunciation of any attacks against Russian ships, refineries, pipelines, and gas infrastructure. The response must arrive before midnight. If it does not, Moscow will proceed without hesitation. From our assessment, political negotiation has been replaced by raw strategic enforcement. The war has entered what Russia considers its terminal phase. One of the most influential military correspondents operating in eastern Ukraine summarized it plainly. This is no longer about achieving a negotiated peace. That option has been abandoned. What follows is enforced surrender, with Ukraine stripped of its defensive capabilities and placed under a comprehensive Russian protectorate. In our view, this explains the broader objective. Russia is not seeking destruction for its own sake. It aims to eliminate any possibility of Ukrainian military reconstitution while preserving territory under a different political alignment, one no longer oriented toward foreign strategic interests. The role of the United States is central to this outcome. From the outset, Washington supplied funding, weapon systems, intelligence support, and advisory infrastructure. But that support is fracturing. Europe is fatigued, constrained by internal crises and economic strain. Commitment is weakening. Washington itself faces political division, economic pressure, and a leadership struggling to acknowledge the consequences of escalation. President Trump's public frustration reflects that strain. Meanwhile, Russian forces continue advancing steadily. Military superiority is no longer theoretical. It is observable across every operational front. What do you think about this strategy of ultimatums and enforced deadlines? Does it signal the end of diplomacy or the beginning of imposed peace? Give us your opinion in the comment box below. Inside Kyiv, decision-making is fractured. Some officials advocate resistance regardless of cost. Others quietly discuss scenarios of controlled capitulation. The defining factor is time. Decisions that once unfolded over weeks must now be made within minutes. Zelensky's silence persists, and in Moscow, silence is interpreted as refusal. This time, refusal carries irreversible consequences. Russian forces are not waiting for justification. They are waiting for execution orders. Kyiv streets are largely empty. A population worn down by years of conflict lacks the energy to flee or protest. Some prepare emergency bags. Others lock themselves inside and wait. Official assurances that civilians are not targets offer limited reassurance. Power plants, communication hubs, and strategic nodes are embedded within residential areas. Their destruction would trigger systemic collapse. There would be no immediate recovery, only darkness, uncertainty, and the realization that defeat was not sudden, but cumulative. Midnight approaches. In Moscow, military command monitors developments in real time. In Washington, analysts understand that any intervention risks uncontrollable escalation. In Kyiv, Zelensky technically retains the final word, but practical power has already shifted. The offensive underway does not hinge on last-minute decisions. It was set in motion long ago, when repeated warnings were dismissed. The clock continues to run. Troops continue to advance. The ultimatum stands. History is once again on the verge of being written by force. Before the final outcome unfolds, one question remains unavoidable. When a capital is given hours to surrender under threat of eradication, is the war already decided, or is a far more dangerous phase about to begin? Give us your opinion in the comment box below. In conclusion, this ultimatum against Kyiv represents far more than a tactical maneuver. It confirms a strategic endgame years in the making. Russia has consolidated military leverage to the point where it dictates conditions rather than negotiates them. The potential collapse of Kyiv's energy and communications infrastructure would mark a defining turning point, transforming Ukraine from an active theater of war into a subordinated geopolitical space. Historically, ultimatums of this nature signal the exhaustion of diplomacy and the imposition of order by force, a pattern observed in conflicts from the 20th century to the present. The immediate beneficiaries are Russia's military and political leadership, now operating from a position of undeniable strength. The losers extend beyond Ukraine's armed forces to civilians trapped between infrastructure collapse and strategic calculation, and to Western powers confronting the limits of their influence. International analyses increasingly acknowledge that escalation without exit strategies leads only to irreversible outcomes. If Kyiv goes dark tonight, it will not simply mark a military defeat, it will stand as the moment the balance of this conflict definitively shifted. Now it's your turn. If this analysis offered insight you won't hear elsewhere, share your perspective in the comments. Do you believe this ultimatum will end the war, or open the door to a more dangerous global phase? Subscribe if you haven't already, because we're tracking the evolution of this story day by day. Make sure to activate notifications, and don't miss our next report. And remember, you can now become a channel member. If you believe in this project and want to see it grow, your support makes all the difference. If you'd like to support our channel financially, which we greatly appreciate, you can do so through Patreon and PayPal. The link is in the video description.